welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a pick a card reading. Now, if you already know which pile you're gravitating towards and you don't need an explanation, feel free to head to the timestamps down below. They are in the description box, which even if you're on mobile, you should be able to access those now. YouTube finally updated that. But just to be sure, I'll put them in the comments too. But if you're new to pick a cards and you've never seen this before, let me go ahead and break it down for you. So right here we have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Basically, you're going to go ahead and pause this video and you are going to either focus your intention on the cards. You can also say the numbers 111, 222, 333, 444, and just see which kind of, I guess, sparks something in you, whatever you feel pulled to. You can also go by choice of the candle colors on top. It's really all up to your own intuition. I also encourage, if you're struggling to pick a pile, that you check out the number or the timestamps listed in the description and in the comments, because sometimes your lucky number might be in those numbers, and that will also tip you off to which pile is for you. Please know that no matter which pile you choose, there is never a wrong answer. You are always going to gravitate towards that which is for you, and that which is for you is never going to pass you. So go ahead and take a moment now, pause the video, and decide which pile, and then choose where you want to go. Hello, my beautiful pile number ones. Welcome in. Now we're doing something a little different with this reading that I've never tried before, but we are doing a little bit of candle intentions with this. So if you chose this pile, I want you to take a moment, take a deep breath really quick. Let go of any tension, and you don't even have to let it go. Just notice where you're feeling any tension in your body right now. Just acknowledge it. It doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to mean anything. Just acknowledge that it's there. And on the exhale, imagine or allow yourself to release that, okay? One more time. Okay, so with this, now if you chose this, the pink candles actually resemble love, especially self-love. So basically what I want you to think about is, if you are struggling to find love for yourself right now, then this candle is actually, as it burns down, it is going to send the message to the universe and to God or to source or whatever it is that you believe. It is going to send a message to the universe that you are ready to receive love for yourself. So we're just going to go ahead, make sure that this is going to stick down in there for us so we can get it to sit up straight. And then we're going to go ahead and just push this up. I want it to be still in the reading with us, so just going to put it right over here. And I'm going to go ahead and light this for you. And as I light it, like I said, make sure you can like look at the flame, see what's happening. Usually a straight vertical flame means that it's working really well. If it wavers a little bit, don't worry. It means that that energy is still drawing into you. It just might take a little bit. So basically we are just doing a little bit of candle blessings for you before we get started. So really embrace that self-love, embrace who you are, because you are exactly who you are meant to be right now today. There is no tool that you are missing. There is nothing from your realm right now that you are missing to find that love for yourself. So just open yourself up to receive. All right, let's go ahead and move into the reading. So for you, my lovely pile number ones, the first thing that we have for you, oh, I love this. We have reset with this beautiful new moon card. So this reset, what this actually is for us is, we actually, as I'm filming this, we have just gone through the Gemini new moon. Now there is a new moon every 29.5-ish days. So I guess just pay attention to when those new moons are. Like I said, we just passed the Gemini new moon. If you're watching this when it's just now going live. And so right now is a good time for you to actually look at your life and decide where you want to go from here. Decide basically pick out those habits in your life that maybe you feel like are destructive or they're not helping you, and don't set this intention that you're just going to rip them all up and start new as a brand new person. I mean, if that fits your mood, go for it, but set this intention that you are going to allow yourself this new life. You're going to allow yourself this time to reset, refocus on your goals. This is also a really good time if you're somebody who sets New Year's resolutions. Go ahead and look at those New Year's resolutions, see what is aligning with you, and remove what is not aligning with you anymore. So we're gonna go ahead and just move that up here. But I guess Spirit really is just wanting you to know that it is safe for you to start resetting. It is safe for you to evaluate your goals and your dreams and make changes where it's appropriate and kind of give your life a reset. And actually, sorry, Spirit's not done. This also goes for your spaces. I'm hearing the message right now that if your home is really like messy, don't judge yourself for it, number one, okay? Don't judge yourself. But if your home is really messy or very cluttered, Spirit wants you to know that it's actually time for you to start going room by room and cleaning out the clutter, because what this is actually doing is having your space in this chaotic state. It's actually a representation of your mind. It's a representation of how cluttered you feel internally. So it's time to reset the space around you so that you can also reset your mind. So really get in there, clean out all the little dust bunnies, get rid of things, or I wouldn't say donate, because right now we're kind of in some interesting times in the world, but maybe set some things aside for donation later when we're able to do that. Give things again, give things to friends when we can again, but it's really time to reset and make time for new to come in, because once we do that, new can finally come in. So we have that card. Now the next few cards that we have here for you, I also have death, and I don't want you guys to be scared of this, because death is actually, it doesn't mean death in the way that I feel like modern society portrays death. It means that you actually are needing to go through a transformation of sorts. So this card actually says, death, the eternal cycle begins here. So what that means is from this reset, you're actually going to go through a transformation, even if it, oh, sorry, I just... when I start talking truth, like when I burp or like anything weird happens, that's how I know that Spirit is actually shifting the energy in me. So apologies if that happens. It just means that we are very tapped in. But death here is representing to you that it's time to change. It's time for a transformation. It's time, all those little... like our good friend Brene Brown says, those little shame gremlins, anything in your life right now that you feel shameful or hopeless about, now is the time that you actually need to start setting down the groundwork to make the appropriate changes in your life. So it's actually the dawn of a new beginning. Like there might be some things that you still need to process and go through, but get excited about this. Like honestly, a new moon especially is a very exciting time. So get excited about this, feel through it, allow yourself to be excited about this. This is not a bad thing. This is a beautiful thing, because you're about to transform, come out the other side, and be in this state of who and where you really want to be. So get ready for it. You're basically making room for that transition. Now, the next few cards that we have here for you, I see that we have Judgment here for you. We have Everything is Fine with the 10 of Swords, and we also have the Lovers. So what I'm getting from this, y'all, is that you're going through a really deep transition of the soul, because the Lovers, especially in this deck, and if you love any of the decks that I'm showing today, I will be linking them down below so you can get your hands on them. But let's scoot this down just a little bit. But the Lovers card in this deck really to me speaks about a soul journey, because if you look at these two cards, this one here is basically an aspect of this person, but it's the darker half. So right now, you're being asked to actually join hands with your shadow self. You're being asked to join hands and forces with the parts of you that maybe everybody else has cast aside or you have cast aside. And you're being asked to just invite those feelings and those emotions in for tea. Now, it might feel a little bit like this, okay? It might feel a little bit like some 10 of Swords. It feels heavy, it hurts, you don't really want to, you don't want to process it. You kind of push these things out of your mind when they come come up because they're things that you don't really want to look at or deal with. And it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. Okay. I'm not Willy Wonka. We don't sugarcoat in this house. We don't do that in this chat, but it's not necessarily going to be the easiest journey, but what I can tell you is it is going to be worth it. Because when we have judgment coming out, I actually have another video on my channel that's either coming out or it's already out soon that talks about this. So if you picked pile number 1, I would encourage you to watch that video. If it's not out already this week, it will be out on Friday this week. So depending on how I decide to upload these, but, and I will card it if it's already out. So if not, look out for it coming later in the week. But with this judgment card here, going through this process, you are actually going to rise up, because I think I'm actually hearing that a lot of you keep yourself small on purpose, and not because you want to. It's because you've been made to believe that that's how you have to be. You have to keep yourself small. You have to keep yourself kind of tucked away and I don't want to say sad, but maybe sad. You kind of have to keep yourself tucked away because you've been hurt. You've been hurt by others. You've been hurt by parental figures, friends, teachers. And so you've been kind of told that you're tarnished and you're not allowed to shine. And frankly, it's not true, because once you rub off all the dust and not even rub it off, but once you accept it, once you hug it, once you touch it, once you grab hands with it, you are actually going to become stronger. You are going to rise up, and your story is actually going to be so amazing that other people around you are going to say, wow, look at the transformation that so-and-so went through. I wonder how I can do that. And it might not happen right away. There might be a lot of this going on, of people not listening or not understanding what you're going through or what you're doing. But rest assured, your tribe, because when you put out the right frequency, the frequency that you desire to show the world, when you put that frequency out, your tribe has no choice but to show up, because other people on that frequency will show up. Trust that. And I feel like this is a lot about making those connections. And we are in the age of Aquarius. We also have Saturn in Aquarius right now for the next 2.5 years, 3 years, something like that. And with Aquarius, this talks about friendship, making those deep connections, making those connections with your soul tribe, and also coming together with others to be a part of a whole, to be a part of something fantastic that is meant to, that is meant to change the world in some way. So this is really beautiful. I love this for you. And the last 2 cards we have, and these are just kind of like things to pay attention to. We have the Youth card. Let's put this down here for you. We have the Youth card, and then we also have the Mind and Body card. So these are kind of like cards of advice basically on this path for you. So first and foremost, we have the Youth, and this card has a few meanings, but I want to talk to right now. So if you're not part of what I'm about to say, just, give me a minute and we'll get back into it. I want to talk a little bit to the older generation. If you are a little bit older I was going to say older and wiser. If you are, and I don't necessarily always believe that, but I guess Spirit just wanted me to push that out. But if you're a little bit older, and when I say older, I'm talking about over the age of, let's say, 45 or 50, the older generation. This card really tells me that and this might be a really hard pill to swallow, but just hear me out. This card is really saying, don't discount the youth in your life. Don't be so focused on, I have all the answers. I'm the one that knows the way to go. I've been through this, so I understand. Let me guide, let me guide, let me guide. Because first of all, you're doing an amazing job. You really have the best intention of wanting to help. You have the best intention of wanting to be that guide for the youth in your life, because you've been through so much, you've seen so much, that you do have a lot to say and you do have valuable information. But you knew that but was coming. But something I really need you to maybe think over, that Spirit really wants me to tell you, is that when you say, I know better for your life, like let's imagine you're talking to somebody that is younger. When you say, I know better because I've done A, B, and C, what you're really saying is, I know you better than you know yourself. And it's really unfortunate because even though your intentions are pure and you really do want to help, you really do want to counsel, that's not a bad thing. But what you're not allowing is this person to have their own experience, or these people to have their own experience, because they're never going to understand the way that you do because they haven't gone through it themselves. And it doesn't mean that you're better. It doesn't mean that you're wiser. What it means is that you two might be going through something similar, but it is not the same because they have a multitude of different experiences that have led them to where they are today. And they've met different people, had different interactions. They have different neural pathways, even in their brain, if you want to break it down to a scientific level. They have different, even if it looks similar on the outside, rest assured on the inside, it's different. So just be an observer. If this sounds like you, if what I've said sounds like you, be an observer. And if this person comes to you and asks for guidance, then it is fine. Then it is okay. It is wonderful to share what you know. You could even ask, hey, I've been through something similar. Do you want guidance? And if they say yes, then it is appropriate. But until that moment, don't force it. I feel like this is actually an issue that comes to the surface a lot right now. And it is that we need to let the youth experience things how they need to experience it instead of trying to save them from the world, if that makes sense. So just like I said, older generation, I think I was speaking to specifically here. Some people I would say in the younger generation that could be a part of now. As a collective, this youth card is coming out also because you need to have a little more fun. I think you have been told that life has to be a certain way because it is what people before you have experienced. You know, I have to work hard to A, B, and C. And let me tell you something. Your soul or your source energy or your, whatever you believe, you know, whatever your higher self, whatever that divine presence is for you, it doesn't want life to be hard. On a cellular level, you don't want life to be hard. And I have a surprise for you. It doesn't have to be. Life can actually be extremely easy when you stop trying to force everything from happening. When you let things be what they are and you get curious, life becomes so much simpler. Life becomes so much easier because you allow yourself the grace and the space to be human. You are a multidimensional spiritual being having a human experience. And I don't think enough of you are giving yourselves that love and that credit. You are a multidimensional being having a human experience. So let yourself experience the human life and don't judge it so hard. Well, so-and-so has this and is doing this and they're better because of this. No, you are having your own experience. Honor that experience. You came here because you wanted to have an experience in a certain way. And the more you start to connect back to yourself and put that energy that you keep giving away back into yourself, the easier your life is going to become. I promise. And I know that because I've been there, I've done that, I've got the t-shirt and I've got the trauma. Okay. So just trust me on that one. This is an invitation to have a little more fun in your life. I feel like life has been really not fun for you. And this is an invitation that says things might be a little bit hard and scary on the outside, but how can you make this fun? How can you open your eyes to a world of amazement and wonder and make life brand new again? Because if we think about the youth on their journey, let's say that we think of the youth as somebody who is 15, 16, 17, 18, right? Maybe 18, that might be a stretch. You know, we look at the youth as being, I would argue psychologically that we are youth until we're about 26 because our brains don't even finish developing until we're 26 years old. So really anything under that, you could argue, is still considered youth mentally. So just think about if this is you or someone you know in your life, think about when you started out on that journey. when you got to go and start experiencing life in a certain way on your own terms? What did that mean for you? Was it fun? Was it exciting? Did you look at it with curiosity? Because that's what you're being asked to do. And then we have this little wolf in the picture here. And I feel like that is saying to me that your guides are here for you. This wolf is a guide just as much as it is companionship. And your guides are here to help you with that, to help you ascend to that next level of life. So allow it, allow it. And lastly, with the body-mind here, with the body-mind card, this really talks about your body being in alignment with your mind. And what I mean by that is even down to the foods that you eat. You need to be, I don't want to say you need to be, but a way to look at it, I guess you could say, is that your mind and body really do impact one another. Meaning what you eat affects your mind. What you eat helps your body to create what it needs to regenerate itself, you know, because our body is constantly regenerating. Our body is an amazing thing when you really think about it on a cellular level. It is amazing what our body can do for us. But yet, so many of us just eat in front of the TV. We don't think about it. We don't move our body when we feel inspired to do so. And I'm not that person that's going to tell you ever, never, ever, 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 maybe in the past, but not now. Never, ever, ever will you catch me being like, go on this diet, do this workout plan. No, never. It's not me. Everybody is different, and therefore every body is different. But I think you're being asked to really consider how things make you feel when you eat. Okay, let me just put it into perspective, but this isn't me saying you have to eat a certain way. This is just an example. Ask yourself, be intentional about it. Eat, a Hot Pocket, right? And then ask yourself, how did that make me feel afterwards? But really, like, turn off the TV, turn off your phone, or put your phone in another room, walk away from the computer, sit at the table or outside or wherever you need to sit that you can be undistracted. Eat a Hot Pocket and then ask yourself how that made you feel. And then do the same thing with a salad or something that, it doesn't have to be a salad. That's just, I feel like, the standard in this world of like health, even though it's not. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about that just on a personal level. Spirit's telling me not to focus on that right now though. So, and then ask yourself how you feel. How did that meal make you feel? Because we are so disconnected at this time. And I feel like this entire reading is really pointing to that. It's pointing to this connection that you need to make with yourself, this connection that is asking to be made, this connection that's here. You need to dive a little bit deeper into yourself to fully come to love, accept, and understand yourself. And that's really the mission that's happening here. So even on a body and mind connection, and I don't want you to overwhelm yourself. I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, everything I'm doing is wrong. I have to change A, B, C, D, E, F, and G in my life, or it's all going to go into the trash. Like, no. It's the little things. It's the everyday. What do you feel inspired to work on? Work on those things. So I hope this was helpful for you, group number 1. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget that the decks, if you want to get them yourself, will be linked down below. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. My links are down below for you. And I love you so, 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 so much. I'm going to keep burning this candle for you until it burns all the way out on its own. So please receive that blessing. Know that if you are listening to this right now, that blessing is already yours. Claim it. It's coming. And the candle seems to be really burning in a very steady way. So that's really good news for you. And please never forget that when you stand up in your own authentic power, you give everybody the encouragement and the empowerment to do the same around you. All right. I love you so, so, so much. And I'll see you again real soon. Bye. All right, my pile number 2s, welcome, welcome, welcome. So if you chose pile number 2, you have a red candle, and we're doing something a little bit different in these readings today that I've never done before. But basically, red candles, they resemble passion and ignition, shall we say. They are here to ignite you. They also resemble the element of fire. And so this candle, and remember, this is a generalized reading and a generalized candle, so I'm going to be hitting a few different points here. But basically, if you are missing that lust for life, that passion for life, if you need a creative spark, or for some of you, maybe you need a little bit of a sexual drive back in your life. So for those of you that picked red, that is something that you will be blessed with listening to this reading. So I'm going to go ahead and light this candle, set it up for you, and then what we will do from there, once we have it all lit up and in here, is I will actually light this candle, and I'm going to leave it set up on my altar space for you to burn down. So as this burns down, claim those blessings into your life. Claim them because they are yours to have. And I believe that you were drawn to this reading because you were meant to have this blessing today. And remember, that which is for you will never pass you. So we're going to go ahead and light that. There you go. And we're going to go ahead and push this up over to the side. Oh, up over to the side so you can still see it in frame. But go ahead and just take a look at that candle for a minute for me. Take a deep breath in. Notice where any tension is in your body. Just notice it. And on the exhale, release. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at your reading pile number 2. So first and foremost, we have breathe. That's funny because we just did that. We have breathe, and this card actually is our third quarter moon. So you want to take time to breathe with this. So we're actually coming down from the full moon. So we're coming down into the new moon. And so you want to take this time to really exhale. There may have been a high point with your emotions coming up in a certain time in your life right now, or at the time in your life right now. You may have noticed a heightened sense of emotion, and you're being asked now to just kind of exhale and release those things. So I love that. Go ahead and scoot that up here as we take a look at the next card. So the next card we have is Eternal Love. Love is love, and it transcends physical death. So I think that's really interesting that you all, I didn't plan these. I haven't even seen the cards yet, all of them yet. But I think right now, the people that picked pile number 2, I feel like there might be, like, you may have just been through a breakup. Now, again, remember, this is generalized, so this isn't going to be everyone. But some of you may have just been through a breakup, or maybe you just lost a certain love in your life. And I don't mean like through physical death. I mean, it could have been that for some people, but I don't mean through physical death. What I mean is energetically, maybe a connection has been severed between you and someone else. But what we need to remember is that energy cannot be destroyed. It cannot. Energy cannot be destroyed. And so in knowing that, even the energy that is love that we perceive can also not be destroyed. So even that connection that maybe you feel like you've lost with someone, or just remember that the love is still there. Not necessarily between the two of you. The connection may be severed, or maybe it needed to be severed, but the love is still there. You can always tap back into the feelings of love, whether it be for yourself or for another person. And so love is love. You know, it's something that I feel very called to say this as well. This could also be the love that you had for a project. For some of you, this is about creative passion, and maybe your love for a project has died, but I want you to understand that even if you've given up on some kind of creative passion because it just wasn't doing it for you anymore, you're going to find that love somewhere else. You're going to find another creative passion. You're going to find something that ignites you the way that this thing ignited you. I promise. You know, I think so often in life we get so confused, and we think that, oh, I'm going to find my divine purpose in life and that's going to be it. I'm going to find my divine purpose. But here's the real secret. There is no one purpose. A purpose can be multiple things. And apparently my cat agrees. So I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's talking in the background. Your purpose, you can have multiple purposes throughout your existence. Literally, you can have one when you're younger, one when you're more middle-aged, one when you're a little older, and one when you're on your deathbed. It doesn't matter. You will find that ignition again. You will be ignited again. Let go of this thing, but recognize that you're gonna find something else. And that goes with people too. If you have just been broken up with, or you did the breaking up, know that love will find you again. It will happen again. All right, so what do we have next here? Oh, this is interesting. So we also have the Nine of Wands. We have the Nine of Swords. Ooh, some of y'all are feeling very, very, very down. And this is why I said this is interesting. This card is very specific to this deck. And any of the decks I talk about today will be linked down below for you if you want to get them yourself. But this card, it says, you don't even have to leave this in the deck, but I do because I think it's a really important card. But it says, you are a badass being full of life, love, and possibilities. Through this deck, may you find a path to your best self. So through this reading, I feel like that's almost a calling for some of you to purchase this deck. If you're thinking about reading for yourself, this might be a good one for you to start with. But what this is really saying to me is you've lost your spark. You've lost your magic. A piece of you feels like it has died. And you just feel like you can't go on anymore. There's so much anxiety or worry or fear. I don't want to say anxiety, worry or fear around this situation. And you've built it up so hard in your mind that you feel like you can't ever come down from it. And I'm here to tell you that you may have to armor yourself up one more time. You know, for some of you, you need to let this thing go. Whether it's a person or it's a creative endeavor, you do need to let it go and you need to start something else. However, for a lot of you, I think you need to actually push through. Now, use your own discernment with this reading because, like I said, generalize, so we're getting a lot of energies coming in here at once. But some of you just need to push through. You just need to hold on a little bit longer because the Nine of Wands, especially if you're dealing with a creative endeavor or a job or something like that, the Nine of Wands, it's almost to the level of completion. It's almost to the fruition. You're almost there and you feel like you can't possibly get back up. You just want to give up. You can't possibly pick back up and keep going. And you just feel like it's impossible. But the Nine of Wands is here to tell you, breathe through it, because you're going to come to that new moon. You're going to come to that place again where maybe a new seed needs to be planted to keep this thing in motion. Maybe something new needs to happen. Something needs to spark you. And that's why we have this. Claim that spark. Claim that blessing for yourself. Ooh, as I said that, I don't know if you can tell because I don't think the camera's picking it up really well, but this flame, it just extended itself and got even taller. Spirit says yes. Yes, honey. But the Nine of Wands is here to tell us that you need to pick yourself up and carry on. You need to remember that you are a badass being full of life, love, and possibilities. Whatever you desire to create is yours. It's not made for special people. It is made for everyone. So claim it. Now, we do have a couple of cards here to kind of help you through this process. We have the Hero and we have Heaven and Earth. So what the Hero tells me is you've trotted along this journey for a long time. You've maybe had to be your own hero. Maybe you didn't have someone in your life that you really could look up to or aspire to, and you've had to be your own inspiration. You've had to carry all of your own hope. You've had to carry all of your own dreams and do everything alone. And so now you feel like, just, gosh, I can't keep going on my own like this. And others of you have never tried. Others of you have had this amazing, beautiful, blossoming idea in your head, and you've never allowed yourself to actually try to make something out of it. And this is your call. If you're hearing this reading right now, this is the answer you've been waiting for. This is, you need to claim this ignition and do something about it. And lastly, some of you have been looking at your romantic partner like they are supposed to save you. They are supposed to be your hero. They are supposed to give you this love that you think that you deserve, when in reality, you need to give it to yourself. You need to be your own hero and stop putting your joy and your happiness in another person, because it's not going to help you. So be your own hero. Stop waiting for somebody else to charge up on their white horse and rescue you from where you are. Stand up, and I'm getting this vision of like Hercules in the Disney movie Hercules, where he has that whole sequence where he says, you know, I can go the distance. I know every mile will be worth my while. I can go the distance. I'll find out where I belong. It's time for you to do that for yourself. So allow yourself to be born brand new if you need to, but know that if you want it, it's still there too. It's just, like I said, lots of things coming through. And lastly, we have heaven and earth. This is interesting because pile number 1 had something kind of like this, but heaven and earth says, I actually feel like some of you are maybe about to start a type of a spiritual journey. And I say that because heaven and earth, this card is all about being cyclical, you know, honoring the cycles of the moon, honoring the cycles of the earth, honoring the seasons, honoring that we are all cyclical beings. We are all just expressions of source energy. We are all just expressions. And so I feel like what you're really being asked is to raise your conscious awareness and allow yourself to see outside of the world that you've been looking at. And don't get it twisted. I'm never going to be that love and light bitch that says you have to just think positively. Just think positively. Just think positively. No. Because what that does is it doesn't actually allow you to heal things. It doesn't actually allow you to feel through what you need to feel, because that's really where you have to start. You have to start from this place of, you know, this 9 of Swords. Maybe it is a lot of late nights up in bed crying. Maybe it is a lot of late night worry. But ultimately, it's about getting curious. It's about saying, why is this feeling coming up? Why do I feel this way? What is this experience teaching me? You know, it's opening yourself up to new concepts, because I'm going to zoom out real hard for you real quick. But if you really think about it, like, think about how amazing it is that we literally float through space on this planet that gives us everything that we need to survive. But we really are just in space. Like right now, you're in space. Isn't that amazing to think about life like that? And think about all the things that have not even been discovered yet in this life. Think about all the things that have yet to be created. Think about all the things that show us synchronicity, especially synchronicity. You know, everything, I feel like, from humans to nature to animals to the elements, everything is so cyclical. And when you really zoom out and look at everything as a whole, instead of just saying, oh, this is, you know, these 24 hours in front of me, these are the people I have to talk to, these are the tasks I need to do, this is the job that needs to be done, this is, you know, I feel upset about this person in this situation. And I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that those things aren't real, because they are. They're very real. They're very, very, very real. But just allow yourself to become present and aware. Can you become aware that you're aware? Just allow yourself this moment in the present to just be. To not be something for someone else, to not be anything. Just observe. And I feel like the Heaven and Earth card really says just observe, because so often we look for all of these answers outside of ourselves constantly. And we look towards others to tell us things. We look towards books and movies and documentaries and scientists. And I'm not saying these things are wrong. It's great to bring things into our awareness that we were not previously made aware of. But ultimately, sitting back, having your own discernment, and asking yourself, who do I want to be? What message do I want to carry to the world? Where do I want to go? And when you see these polarities that crop up that kind of roadblock you, recognize that those roadblocks don't come up because they are meant to make you afraid or tell you that this isn't the direction you need to go. Those roadblocks come up because they are there to show you the polarity. They are there to show you it doesn't mean I'm off path. It means that I want more of something that is different from this. So accept the polarity for what it is and realize that we are all cyclical. And this also is a message for some of you if you've been in a really difficult situation right now, that this is not forever. You are cyclical, and that means that even though right now might be a really low time for you, it's going to come back out the other side. We don't have low, 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 low our entire experience. We have highs and we have lows and we have the in-betweens. And right now it might be a really low cycle, but you're going to come out the other side of that eventually. So I'm asking you now to have hope, to take this blessing, to accept it, to call it forth, and to allow yourself to become ignited again. Allow yourself to have fun, to play, to become curious again. Just allow it. Just open yourself to receive. Allow yourself to be receptive. And I think that's what I'm going to leave you with, pile number 2. So I hope this was helpful for you. Please don't forget, if you want any of these decks, they will be a link down below for you. And please remember, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Links for my Instagram and Twitter down below. I love you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye. Okay, my beautiful pile number 3s, welcome to your reading. Now, today we're doing things a little bit differently, like I've never done before, and we're actually doing a little bit of candle intention setting together. So if you chose this pile, you chose the green candle, and this candle, what it actually represents is prosperity, abundance, and so basically, if that is something that you desire more of in your life, go ahead and claim this blessing as yours. I'm going to go ahead and set that intention here for you, and we're just going to light it together, and I'm actually going to let this burn all the way down for you. And basically what that's doing is it's sending the message to the universe that you are claiming this blessing as yours, that abundance and prosperity are coming towards you now. And also, this could be good health and vitality. So if those are some blessings that you would like to have, go ahead and take a deep breath with me. On the inhale, you want to just notice where there's any tension in your body. Don't judge it, just notice. And on the exhale, we're going to release that. And then you can say it aloud or just think it. I claim these blessings. Ready? So inhale and exhale. All right, go ahead and claim these blessings as yours. And like I said, I will be letting this burn all the way down for you so that that energy will go out into the universe. We're gonna go ahead and just put this right over here in the top of the screen so you can see it. And something that's really cool about this is if you see that the flame is burning steady and straight up, that's a good indication that the energy is being received and transmuted. So love that. Right now it looks like we do have a pretty steady flame going. So let's go ahead and see what the cards have in store for you, my beautiful pile number 3s. So first and foremost, we have the card of reflect. So what this card is asking us right now is to literally do that. We want to make sure that we are reflecting on where we've been, on what we're doing, on where we're going, and taking some time to just reflect without judgment. Especially, that's like the big message I'm hearing right now is just reflect without judgments. If there's something in your life that didn't really go the way that you had initially planned for it to go, just reflect on it, process it, but do so without judging yourself so harshly. Because I feel like that is something that maybe a lot of you have done or are doing. There's a lot of judgment that I'm hearing. So just give yourself some time to reflect a little bit. And this also could do with finances because we have the prosperity candle. So maybe you need to reflect a little bit on your finances right now. Just reflect on how your spending habits are. Just notice them and maybe start to devise a plan to change that. Same with prosperity. Just reflect on maybe some beliefs that you have. I mean, we could talk about this for hours, but most, if not all of us have beliefs around abundance and prosperity about how it's only meant for some people, or you have to work really hard to get it. It can't just be easy. And unfortunately, that comes from a lot of generational cursing and generations of people that maybe had to live that way at one time. And now it has become the standard, when in reality, that's not the truth. So just notice those things maybe in you now, and let's go ahead and progress a little more into this reading. So we also have here for you the Black Cat, Fortune Meets Opportunity. Ooh, I just got goosebumps. Spirit said, hey, yo, what is going on? So Black cats, I feel like, are seen as very unlucky. And so you might have this belief about yourself that I'm not lucky. Nothing good ever happens to me. Does this sound like you? I can't be prosperous. That person can be prosperous, but it's not for me. You might have this belief here, but here's what I want to tell you, that black cats are actually extremely lucky. And whenever you see one, recognize that that is your subconscious reminding you how lucky and blessed you are, especially if you're lucky enough to have a black cat of your very own that is a companion animal for you. I'm actually hearing from Spirit right now that a black cat may actually be one of your spirit guides specifically. So just notice that. But what this really says to me is you don't have to do anything, but get quiet and listen. Maybe you're waiting for this groundbreaking idea to come your way because you want to create something or go after something or change something about your prosperity. You're waiting for this groundbreaking idea when in reality, it will come, but it's not going to come if you keep trying to force it. You have to really allow yourself to just surrender to exactly where you are right now. Surrender to this process. Surrender to where you've come from, and take this time to actually reflect on where you've been. And from that, this groundbreaking idea is going to come, because I want to tell you something about this black cat. Fortune and opportunity, or fortune meets opportunity. This is those two things coming together for you. So an opportunity is going to present itself to you, but if you don't go through the proper channel of reflecting and maybe changing something, shifting something in your reality to receive it, it's not going to come about in a way that is favorable for you. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. Don't put those words in my mouth, okay? Nothing bad is going to happen to you. It just might not happen in the way that you truly desire without this reflection. So it's very important that you do that. And what I think is interesting is we even have a mirror in this card going on, because we have the eyes here, and then we kind of have a reflection of these cat eyes back here. So we have a lot of this like reflection going on. So you maybe also are someone that has a belief that you can't be financially abundant because maybe you have been at one time and you lost it all. And now you feel like, ooh, that was my only opportunity to ever have this. And in reality, that's also not true. Reflect and learn from the past, but don't get stuck. Don't pack up and live there. It's there to reflect upon, to make changes, to advance forward. So let's see what we have next for you, group number 3. So, I love this. Okay, so we have the Knight of Cups, we have the Two of Wands, and we also have the Star. So this is extremely favorable for this kind of reading, and let me explain to you why. So I'm not gonna cry. I'm thinking about it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just thinking about it. I'm not gonna do it. Let's go ahead and start actually. I'm like, man, where do I even want to start? These cards are so powerful. Wow. Sorry. I'm just like, a lot of energy is hitting me at once right now, and I'm just really trying to feel it all. So let's actually start with the Knight of Cups. So this Knight of Cups tells me that you really need to get into a place where you focus your intentions on your emotional well-being. In order for this whole thing to work, this is where you need to start. And I say that because with this Knight of Cups, if you can notice here, we have this beautiful woman looking right at her cup. She's not looking at the path in front of her. She's not looking at controlling her horse. The horse already kind of knows what it's doing. It's just going, right? We also have this river down here that symbolizes our emotional flow. So she's focused on the cup. The cup also symbolizes emotion and intuition. So ultimately, upon reflecting on your emotional well-being, I really feel that this is actually what's going to push you forward. Reflecting in on yourself, looking at why you believe the things that you believe, and actually starting to change them. Because what this is going to do, and let me know, group number 3 or pile number 3, if you want a video on this down below about like changing your limiting beliefs. I can only tell you what's worked for me. I can't necessarily guide you on what's going to work for you, but I can give suggestions. So if you want a whole video on that, let me know down below and I will definitely make a note of that. But I feel like a lot of you're just kind of going through the motions. You're not taking an active participation in kind of narrowing the scope of your mind. Because if we let our minds, and rest assured that it is something that does have to be worked at. It's not something that you wake up tomorrow and you just start thinking all these great thoughts. And even I myself, where I am on my journey, I still have bad days. I would never tell somebody that, oh, you're just going to be happy every single day for the rest of your life now because you've conquered this one thing. No, every single person on the planet has bad days. Everyone. So I'm never going to be that love and light bitch that tells you that every single day is going to be this like enchanted fairy tale. It's not true. It's not the human experience. So what I can tell you though is I feel like the message that I'm really getting is that you haven't been as intentional with your own personal flow. You haven't been as intentional as you could be. And this is kind of a call to say, focus on where you want your intention to reside. Don't give your power to these other forces that tell you you can't have this, you can't do this, it's already all been done to death. You know, it's really focusing in your intention on saying things like, maybe it's all been done before, but they haven't seen it done by me. And because I bring a new, fresh perspective to the table, what I create will be different, or what I can bring into this will be different. And it's also about trusting yourself to make the right decisions. Remember that what is for you will never pass you. So as long as you have that intention, laser sharp focus, you're going to be fine. Now, we also have the Two of Wands here, and this tells me that you maybe are someone who is very unclear about what you desire in life. Like maybe you're someone that you just want to be able to pay your bills and not really think about it, buy enough groceries to feed yourself, and have a job that makes you happy. Those are all incredible intentions. Those are all things that I would never tell you not to desire for your life, ever. Always desire those things if that's what you're after. But this is also a call to think bigger. This is a call that says, okay, that's what you want for the like short-term future. What do you want for the long term? What do you want down the line in life? Where do you see yourself? If you could envision your very perfect life, what would you do every day? What would you eat? How would you smell? Where would you live? The sky is the limit. And I find, this is a personal story here, not from spirit, just for a moment. I find that when I start to think, quote unquote, too big, my solar plexus like shrinks up. Solar plexus is that spot right underneath the rib cage. A lot of people feel worry and fear. There's worry, fear definitely comes to mind in that space. But if you focus your intention on opening that space inside of you, and you can think of that energy center like a flower, and maybe it's really closed off right now, but imagine the sun just kind of beaming down on it and it's slowly opening up. You can do that now as we're talking. And what that's gonna do is that's really gonna help you reclaim your personal power, because I'm getting this message that a lot of you feel like you don't have the power to create what you desire. You don't feel like you have the power to have the fortune, to have the opportunity, to have the living situation, to make it in a way that is desirable to you. And the Two of Wands here is telling us that you can make anything that you desire real. There's always enough to go around. The universe is always rigged in your favor. And the only reason that we have things that come out that show us otherwise is it's meant to show us the polarity in that what we do desire is, it's like when we're shown what we do not desire, it shows us what we desire even more. Those desires become stronger because we've seen so much of what we don't desire. So don't keep yourself small. And now, this is why I said I'm not gonna cry. The Star, the best for last here. Well, it's not last, we have a couple more cards, but the Star. The Star card is very special to me personally. So every time I see it, like this reading, I always say that in every one of my pick a cards, one of the readings is always for me. And it might be for some of you guys as well. It doesn't mean that it's only for me. This would have been the one that's for me that I needed to hear. So the Star card very much resembles a lot of my own personal journey. But the Star card here, what this is it is you flowing with life. Because we have this beautiful woman standing in her authenticity, right? She's like stripped naked. She is exactly who she is meant to be. She is perfect. And I say perfect, meaning authentic is a better word. She is authentic. She is authentically herself. And she's pouring into her emotional well-being and she's pouring into her physical well-being. But we definitely have the flow of emotion going into both things. We also have the shining stars above us. We have, I believe this is a crane back here resembling a lot of things, but in this case, I'm getting the message that it is resembling peace. It also could be like a stork and it's maybe resembling pregnancy. So for some people, not everyone, but for some people, this could have something to do with pregnancy, childbirth, having children. But the Star to me is a lot about wish fulfillment and having your desires come true. So this is a really powerful message that what you set your sights and your intentions on is going to come to pass. What is for you will not pass you. That doesn't mean that you're just going to lay back and go to sleep. I mean, this girl, she out here working. She's out here hustling. She is being her authentic self. She is standing in her power, but she's doing it gently. And she's doing it in a way that favors her emotional well-being. And she's also someone that replenishes others. You might be someone that even just your energy replenishes other people. It quenches other people's thirst for knowledge, for love, for creativity. And so you need to step forward in your authenticity, because what you have to say is going to quench the thirst of other people. And this is really important in raising the vibration of the collective and in raising your own vibration. It's bringing other people up with you. So this card is very powerful. It also has strong ties to the sign of Aquarius, because Aquarius is the water bearer. She's being the water bearer. So you may find that you also are an Aquarius or have strong Aquarian placements. The reason I'm bringing up Aquarius also is that Aquarius is the humanitarian. They come together with others to create better for humanity. So this might be something that, you know, this is your fortune and your opportunity is maybe going to come from something that is better for humanity. So I love that. A lot of you that pick this pile, I think, are also light workers. So if you've ever questioned that maybe you might be a light worker, I feel like that's a very high possibility. We also have the Two of Air, and the Maiden. Here's two twos. Wow, this reading is full of twos because we have the Two of Wands, the Maiden is the two, and then we also have the Two of Air. So I feel like there's a lot of duality going on for you right now, that maybe you are not really sure about a lot of things. On one hand, you see things a certain way, and then on the other hand, you see them in another way. And I feel like there are definitely some choices that you're going to have to make soon. So this is why that reflection is going to be really important for you. But something that's really coming through for me right now, and the black cat actually might be a really good thing for you to note. Like if you see black cats during this process, that might be something that's going to help you in deciding and trusting your intuition with where you're going. But I feel like there's a lot of choices that are going to come your way, and just understand that you're never going to make a wrong choice. I feel like we definitely, as a collective, when we have choices presented to us, sometimes it can be really scary because we don't want to make a wrong choice. But I'm here to tell you that, oh, sorry, my coffee machine just went off. Spirit was agreeing. She said, hey girl, what's up? But with choices, sometimes we make choices scarier than they are. Even if something bad happens with a choice that you make, know that it still happened for a reason. It happened the way it was meant to, because what is for you will never pass you. So if you made a choice and the result of that choice was something that didn't necessarily work out the way that you had hoped, it doesn't mean that you made the wrong choice. You are never off your path, ever. You are never off path. You're always exactly where you're supposed to be. So trust that, claim that. And with the Two of Air, this says, don't look at black and white thinking. Don't feel like it has to be this way or it has to be this way. Allow yourself to be in flow when decisions come your way. Don't be so stuck and so rigid. And the Maiden over here reminds us that life is meant to be beautiful. You're not supposed to say, okay, this is where I want to be, and now I'm going to sit here and stress about it because I'm not there yet. The Maiden doesn't do that. Do you see her running? She's not running down that path. She's stopping to smell the roses and pet the bunnies. And, she's stopping to really take every beautiful thing in that life has to offer her. She's not running and gunning towards anything. So just really remember that life is a journey. It's not a sprint. It's not a marathon. You're not trying to run. You are trying to do your best to honor the process, honor your journey, and know that when the timing is right, it's all going to show up regardless. And you can get into the moment and feel those feelings now. But don't take it as a sign that you're never going to get it just because it's not showing up instantaneously. So, I love this reading for you. I hope that it reached you well. I hope that y'all are having a beautiful, beautiful day. Please remember that when you stand up in your authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. I love you so, so much. Links to these decks down below if you want to get them, as well as links to my Instagram and Twitter. Just be sure to check that out down there, and I will see you in a future video. Bye. All right, my pile number 4s. If you chose this pile, I apologize. I already lit the candle, but I didn't have my mic recording. For some reason, the audio got a little spotty, so I needed to go back and do it again. So you didn't get to actually see me light this or explain it, but today we're doing something a little bit different. So if you chose this pile, you chose the purple candle. And what we have done with this is we have set the intention now that you are going to expand on your psychic gift. You are going to embrace the divine feminine, and you are going to trust yourself and your own intuition and awareness. And if this is something you feel like you've been lacking, or you have a lot of hard decisions to make, or your life is going in a new direction, this is the blessing I want to instill upon you now. So I am going to let this candle burn all the way down on my own time. And as this candle burns down, that energy is being sent to the universe and being sent to you. So just know that that is a blessing that you will be receiving, and you currently are receiving as you are listening to this. So let's go ahead and see pile number 4, what is going on for you. So first and foremost, we got some interesting cards here. We have trust. So with this card, trust, we're not talking about the trust that you have with someone else. This is about the trust that you have with yourself, especially if we're going in theme with our psychic candle over there. Now, I feel like those of you that chose this pile, either you're really great at trusting yourself and you just, all of you are capable and wonderful at trusting yourselves. However, you either are already really good at it and you just need that reminder, or it's something that you've been working on, or you're being asked to work on it. Because so many of us are very disconnected from our intuition, very disconnected from who we want to be in this life, or the decisions that we need to make, or you may find that you just don't trust yourself to make choices. You let other people take the lead in your life for you when you already have all of the answers that you are ever going to need. And the more you trust yourself to make decisions, to do things, to take inspired action, the easier and easier and easier it's going to become. Trust that every single person has intuition. You have intuition. You have a psychic gift. It's not for special people. Some people may come into this life a little more tapped in, a little more clued in naturally. However, everybody has a special gift. Everybody. And it's the more that you work the muscle that is this special gift, and you come to trust yourself and trust your intuition and trust the messages that flow through you and to you, the easier and easier and easier and more aligned in intention that's going to become. So just trust yourself. You have all of the answers. And I feel like some of you honestly came to this reading because you do have a hard choice that you need to make, and that's the answer. You need to just trust yourself that no matter what decision you make, it's going to be the right one. Even like both paths are okay. Both paths are wonderful. Both paths are great. And you're not going to make a wrong choice. So let's go ahead and see what else we have for you in this reading. So we also have scrying in intuition. Oh my gosh, this is so spot on. It's ridiculous. So with this scrying and intuition card, we have a crystal ball here with a couple of candles being shown to us. And again, I want to reiterate that you have a psychic gift. Everybody does. It's not for special people. It's not only for people that are mediums. Everybody has the ability to be their own oracle, to have the divine come into their life and help them to channel things out for themselves. And that's kind of my big thing, actually, with a lot of the things that I teach and say. Like, I'm not special. I have just opened myself up to be the channel for information. I don't actually possess a gift necessarily. I'm just open to channeling, and everybody has that ability. Even if it's like me, clairaudient. I have clairaudience and sometimes clairsentience. There's a lot of different kinds of psychic gifts, and everybody possesses those, but you're actually being called at this time to advance upon that, because when we have the scrying card, you can do scrying with a crystal ball, with a reflection of water, with a black mirror. You can actually scry with candle flames. You can just stare intently into a candle while doing your best to clear your mind and seeing what comes up. I've done this before with great success, but it's all about just opening yourself up to whatever messages need to come through, allowing them to come through. And you're actually being called, I believe, right now to start a practice that allows for you to have more of this in your life and to trust your ability to do it. Because I feel like maybe you're a little bit scared, or you think that maybe you're not good at it, or you don't know how to do it and you can't learn. But frankly, that's just not true. You need to come to this place where you start to trust yourself more. Now, we also have the Hierophant, which is really interesting. We have the Eight of Wands. And we also have the Knight of Wands. So what this says to me, the Hierophant or the Hierophant is here to tell us that maybe you're somebody who comes from a very traditional path. I'm not going to lie to you. The Hierophant really brings up a lot of resistance in me when I see it. And that's my human form talking, not spirit talking. It brings up a lot of resistance in me because I am very non-traditional in the way that I was brought up to be traditional. I very much have stepped away from that in my adult life completely. I've made a complete transformation out of it. And so the Hierophant always brings this like, ugh, energy to me, but I'm going to do my best today to put that aside and really channel through what this is saying for you. Now, remember, this is a generalized reading, so there may be multiple messages that come through. And because I've had to record the intro twice now, I don't know if I said it, but if there's any decks that I use today that you like, there will be links for them on where you can get them down below, just so you're aware. So the Hierophant is here to say that, like, you can be, some of you really need to hear this, okay? If Christianity is your path, I'm going to be very blunt here because there's some of you here that really do need to hear this. If Christianity is your chosen path, you can be Christian and still be into this kind of stuff. You can have a love for God and also want to divine things for yourself. It is completely okay, and I would say even necessary, because even back in the time of Jesus being on the planet, teaching others love and teaching others raising their consciousness, even in that time, there was still divination going on. People would go to others for divination and for advice because they believed that they had this gift to help them. And that's always what it is. It's this helping gift. And I feel like some of you are very scared to step outside of that box. And the human mind is very interesting. I'm going to get a little scientific here too. The human brain is very interesting because oftentimes we show fear when we don't understand things, and having psychic gifts or trusting yourself and your intuition and letting that be your guide is scary for some of us because we've either been conditioned to believe that it's wrong or unacceptable, or we have been conditioned into believing that we can't do it, that we always have to look outside of us. And there's a lot of fear around it. There's a fear of spirits. There's a fear of quote unquote black magic or witchcraft, or tapping into these other gifts that are available to you. They are a part of you. If you're seeing this reading, I believe they are a part of you. Maybe you've even come from an ancestral line where they're a part of you even more so. And so I do believe that you don't have to follow this traditional path. You can make your own path, and you can uphold your tradition while doing your own thing at the same time. It doesn't have to be so cut and dry. Now, we also have the Knight of Wands and the Eight of Wands. So this is a lot of rapid action. I feel like some of you are actually going to be going through a spiritual awakening, or your spiritual awakening is just starting. I do believe that many of us go through several spiritual awakenings in our human lifetime. And the Eight of Wands says that it might happen very quickly. You might try something and you might get answers really quickly, and that might kind of scare you a little bit. But you're being asked to just trust it, just to go with it, to know that you're going to be safe. You're going to be free from harm's way. And these experiences, whenever I like burp or something, I'm really sorry when that happens, but it's like energy moving through me. So I'm so sorry. But the Eight of Wands is really here to say that this might happen very quickly. You might have instances that crop up quickly that kind of freak you out, but just trust it. Just go inward, ask yourself what resonates, and leave the rest. We also have the Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands to me says, go in the active pursuit of this. You know, the Knight of Wands is charging forth on his horse, or his or her horse, their horse rather, and is going after this thing, is going after trusting their intuition. They're not questioning anything along the way. They're just going. And that's kind of the attitude I feel like Spirit wants you to have about this. Spirit wants you to just go for it and not, obviously do it in a way that feels correct for you. Use your own discernment, but go forth and just stop questioning every little decision that you make. Just go for it. If you want to buy that book on divination, buy the book on divination. If you want to start reading tarot cards for yourself, buy yourself a deck. Now, because this is a generalized reading, I do also need to say that sometimes the Knight of Wands can resemble a can resemble, I feel like, a very attractive person coming into your life. So you maybe need to trust that. just throwing it out there. For somebody, I feel like there's a really attractive person coming into your life, and it could be a sexual attraction or a friendship attraction, but somebody beautiful, I feel like, with a lot of sexual charisma is going to maybe be coming into your life, and that could be part of what you need to trust. This person maybe is going to bring some new experiences and opportunities into your life. And then we also have the Sage, and we also have the King of Air. So what this says to me is, if you pulled this pile, your intuition and your knowledge and inner knowing needs to be shared. The King of Air is somebody who knows how to use their discernment. It's funny that I said discernment already, because this card to me is like a strong indication of discernment. And the King of Air to me is somebody that uses their discernment to decide what is for them and what is not for them. And they kind of move in the world in that way. They move in that way of making clear decisions. And usually they are someone who does things with a little bit more logic in mind. So that could be you. But I feel like what you're being asked is to do both. Trust your logic, but also trust your intuition. You don't have to have all of the answers all the time. It is perfectly acceptable to have some of the answers, but still make a decision based on a feeling. And honestly, the more you get in touch with that, I feel like the better, especially because we have our candle representing the divine feminine, which really represents more of trusting our inner knowing versus going with the logical aspect all the time. And then lastly, we have the Sage, and I feel like you guys are meant to, or you all are meant to share your gifts with the world, because the Sage, that's really interesting. I have a channeled message that's either already out or is coming out this week on my channel as well, and both of these cards came out. So I feel like that message might also be for you. That video message might also be for you. But the Sage is somebody that is a great storyteller. They are a great mystic, and they are able to share where they've come from, what they've learned along their pathway, and use it to assist others. They trust the guiding forces around them, and they are ignited with passion from their intuition and from their life experiences. And I feel like this maybe could be you, this great storyteller. The King of Air also tells me that you are a great storyteller, because this is also about using your voice and using your communication skills to direct your story. So this is a lot about communicating. You may even find that you're somebody that communicates like, not necessarily, well, it could be telepathic, but somebody that communicates like a medium. I feel like this reading reeks of like heavy mediumship. So you may be somebody that is able to be a medium. And I feel like that's all I really have for this reading, is ultimately just to trust yourself and trust your path, and don't be afraid to go a little bit against the grain. It's going to open you up to so many new experiences and opportunities that you've never thought possible before. And yeah, just do that. But thank you so very much for tuning in today. Please, please, please do not forget, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. I love you so, so, so much. And please don't forget to check out the description box, where there will be these decks for purchase if you want to get them, and also my links to Instagram and Twitter. And I'm going to go ahead and set this candle aside for you. Don't forget to welcome that blessing in, and I will see you in another video real soon. Bye.